But Stefanik has been feverishly attacking Trump's critics, going on media, using his talking points, and she really had a tour de force performance this past Sunday on Meet the Press, where she went on and she used Trump's language talking about the January 6th people that have been convicted. She called them hostages. When the host asked her, if Trump was a threat to democracy, she said the real threat to democracy was Biden and the Democrats are trying to kick Trump off the ballot. Just everywhere down the line, she was making a composed, forceful case for Trump in Trump's language. And watching it, just been clear for me that she clearly wants this. And apparently, Trump has said he's made his pick already. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was her.
Welcome to The Debrief, where we talk with the Washington Examiner's top journalists about the headlines they're covering and where the story's going next. I'm Sarah Bedford, and I'm here with commentary editor Conn Carroll. And Conn, you wrote about how Congresswoman Elise Stefanik is running for the vice president slot on a potential Trump ticket, and she seems to be winning. Why is that? She's not normally a name that you hear since she's not a 2024 contender. But why do you think she's
She
going
should
ahead?
be. I mean, I think when you look at the universe of people that some people are considering, Kristi Noem, obviously not running, governor of
Right.
Dakota.
Right, you're right.
People think she's in the race. Marjorie Taylor Greene, also not running. People think she was in the race. But, last time I did these rankings of Trump's possible VP picks, I had Marjorie Taylor Greene at number 2. And I think her star was pegged a lot to Kevin McCarthy, and when he fell, she's been kind of homeless since then. But Stefanik has been feverishly attacking Trump's critics, going on media, using his talking points, and she really had a tour de force performance this past Sunday on Meet the Press, where she went on and she used Trump's language talking about the January 6th people that have been convicted. She called them hostages. When the host asked her, if Trump was a threat to democracy, she said the real threat to democracy was Biden and the Democrats are trying to kick Trump off the ballot. Just everywhere down the line, she was making a composed, forceful case for Trump in Trump's language. And watching it, just been clear for me that she clearly wants this. And apparently, Trump has said he's made his pick already. I wouldn't be too surprised if it was her.
The migrant crisis has been putting more and more pressure on blue cities, particularly in Chicago and New York City. And now New York City Mayor Eric Adams has filed a lawsuit against the state of Texas. And Governor Greg Abbott, tell us about that.
Well, so actually, it's not against this governor of Texas. That's actually a cute little trick on his point.
Correction.
No, so he's filed suit against 17 bus companies that have contracts with the state of Texas to deliver migrants from Texas to New York City. But he has not actually sued the governor of Texas.
Interesting.
But he says that the reason why these bus companies in particular are liable for the costs of illegal migrants in New York City is because they conspired with an evil intent with Greg Abbott. So Greg Abbott has since responded and said, look, according to the Constitution, once you're in the United States, you're a person in the United States, you have freedom to travel wherever you want. These migrants all willingly want to go to New York City. And that's kind of one wrinkle. I think it was genius of Greg Abbott to start busing migrants to New York City, Washington, D.C., Chicago. But I think it also gives the Democrats too easy of a scapegoat. Because when you look at New York City specifically, they've processed over 160,000 migrants just in New York City alone. But only 30,000 of those migrants have been bused by the governor of Texas. So the vast majority of these migrants are finding other ways to get there. So it was a great way of highlighting it, but really the problem is Biden's policies. It's not the fact that Abbott is busing these people everywhere.
Right, you don't hear that mentioned very often.
It should be mentioned more,
media.
which is why I mentioned it.
And finally, on Capitol Hill, there are still border talks going on, particularly in the Senate. What are the status of those negotiations, and are you confident yet that we're going to see some meaningful change in those talks?
I mean, there's clearly change going on all the time. So there was a huge conference meeting on the Republican side at 3:30 on Wednesday. And I don't think it went particularly well for the pro-deal people. Because coming out of the meeting, they were attacking people who were saying, our colleagues who don't want any type of immigration bill, they're only going to make our country worse. And, we really do need some type of deal on parole. And Democrats coming out of the meeting also were drawing the line parole. So it does seem like there's a strong group of Republicans that are demanding that there's an end to Biden's abuse of parole authority. And it seems as though some of the Republicans that are negotiating are willing to cave on that, and the Democrats are not. So we'll see what happens. Right now, if I still had to bet, I would not bet on a deal coming out in the next couple weeks.
Well, Conn, thank you so much for being here today.
Absolutely.
You can get more reporting from Conn and the rest of the commentary team at washingtonexaminer.com.